So, okay, so we could get started. All right, so let me go to, I'll go back to the agenda. What was that?
I'm taking notes.
Oh, thank you. All right, so that was, you already covered what you may call it, the second, I'll share screen. Okay. Got it. This is also being live streamed on Facebook. So welcome. Well, let's have everybody introduce themselves. And we could skip right by number 2 because Julie already volunteered to take minutes. Okay. So at the top of my screen, I see Miss Laval Bryant Quigley. So why don't you talk a little bit, introduce yourself.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Lavelle Bryan Quigley. I am the Director of Community Engagement and Partnerships at Brooklyn Museum. I just started this role maybe in mid-January, so it's a pleasure at the top of this role to connect with our community and be here with you all this evening. And I thank Naima Wood for inviting me to be here. And it's good to be with you all. Should I pass it off?
Yes, you should. Pass it on to the next person.
I'll pass it off to Stephen.
Thanks so much, Lavelle. My name is Stephen McIntosh. I'm the Director of Family Programming, or the BAM Kids Programming at the Brooklyn Academy of Music, where I've been in that role for the past 9 years. It's does largely the majority of the family programming that the Brooklyn Academy of Music offers, which our demographic is between families with children between the ages of 2 and 11. Yeah, and I give thanks to Julia Bryant, who reached out to me and invited me to spend some time with all of you great folks tonight. So thank you for the opportunity.
I'll pass it up for the next person.
All right, I will pass it to Marley.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, I don't have my screens today, so I'm trying to take notes and talk. I am a postdoc working with community engagement at the Prospect Park Zoo, and I'm here with my coworker, Bill, who's the head of education, but I guess I should pass it off to him as well.
All right, thanks so much, Marley.
Sorry.
My name is Bill Elliston. I'm the Curator of Education at the Prospect Park Zoo. Happy to be back and looking forward to, I'm only with you for a short time, but looking forward to catching up. I will pass this off to, how about Julia?
Hi, I'm Julia Bryant. I am a community member and I have been on Parks and Recreation committee for maybe 4 or 5 years. And this is the best year that we've had. So I want to keep it moving. And I'm going to pass it off to Miss Brenda Pagan.
Hi, everybody. I'm Brenda Pagan, and I am a community member of CB9 on the Parks and Recreation Committee. And I'm a former teacher. Actually, I'm still a teacher. I've been a teacher all my life. I retired from teaching, but I'm still teaching. It's good to see all of you here tonight. Thank you all.
Pass it up to the next one.
Oh no, I don't have it. Let me see. I saw someone. Nina.
Hello, everyone. I'm Nina. I'm a community member. I've been part of Park and Recreation for about a year now. But by day, what I do for a living is that I'm an estate planner with New York Life and New York Life Securities. So I'm here to help because I care about the community too.
You could pick another name and pass that person to the next person.
it says Brooklyn Community.
That's in the office.
Oh, okay.
How about Kylie? Tell them who you are.
Good evening, everyone. I hope all is well. It's good to see you all. My name is Khalid Jamad. I'm the community associate here at Brooklyn Community Board 9, serving the neighborhoods of Crown Heights, PLG, Perfect Lovers Gardens, Wingate, and some of North Flatbush. It's good to be here with you all. Thank you. I want to pass it off to Courtney.
Hi, everybody. My name is Courtney Loisel. I'm a member of the community board, my first year on this committee and on the board, and happy to see everybody tonight. I will pass this off to Naima.
Hello, everyone. I'm Naima Wood, and I'm a member of the community resident group. And I've been on the committee for about 6 months now, and it's a pleasure to serve with all of you. So Nick, we'll turn it back over to you.
That's everybody we have? Okay. So now let's go to, I want to put up the minutes. Let's go and review that quickly and see if we have to make any correction or addition. And now get the, well, first of all, got to check to see if we have a quorum. Khalid, is it possible you could call the roll for us for both board members and community resident members? Hold on one second. I might be able to do that too.
Nicholas, so those are the people who are listed on the email, right?
People are listed into that, yes. Mhm.
Okay, so I could do this.
Yes. go ahead.
Brenda Briggs. I'm sorry, Gloria
Gloria,
Briggs.
yeah, we don't have Gloria today.
Okay, Julia Bryant here.
I don't know if she forgot.
Matthew Fulton,
Not here.
Courtney. Courtney, help me out.
Loisel. I'm here.
I'm studying French. You'd think I could get this. Chloe, Lucan. Chloe, no.
Hi, Ms. Briggs. Are you trying to get into the meeting?
Miss Brenda Pagan, here. David Walters. Okay, so to have a quorum, you need 6.
Hello, good night. Hello.
Who's that?
This is David Romeo.
Oh, hi, David Romeo.
Amen.
So Nicholas, how many do you need to have a quorum?
You're muted, Khalid, you're muted.
I think we need about 6 people.
Yeah, 6.
6.
Yeah.
I think I think we do. I think I'm missing one more person, which I'm going to try. I just spoke to Ms. Briggs. She's going to join us shortly. She just joined.
Okay, so then maybe we can do it later.
You
Yeah.
have a quorum though.
Before we start voting, we'll do that again. Okay. So
Khalil says we have a quorum.
all right. So what I wanted to do, we do have a quorum. So I wanted for us to look to the minutes and see if we get it approved so we could move on quickly to the presentation. So let me put the minutes up. Okay.
Who are the 6?
Sorry. What did I have? I had just okay, I think everybody can see the minutes. Everybody should have received it in their email.
Yes.
Okay, so you had a chance to review it. Is there any changes, addition?
I thought they were just wonderful.
I think they were there too. So I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes as written.
I second it.
Okay. You second it. Who would like to put the motion?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you can't put it in.
No, because I'm wanting.
Okay, I'll put the motion in to approve the minutes. Someone needs to second it.
Motion has been moved by Julia Bryant. Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Oh, the motion's been seconded by Miss Naima Wood. Okay, are there any discussion? I would move for unanimous consent to approve the minutes. If so, do I have any?
To approve the minutes, you said opposed.
Oh, no, to approve, I'm sorry, to approve the minutes. Are there any abstention? Okay, are there any opposed? Seeing none, the minute has been approved by unanimous consent. So thank you very much, everyone. So I will stop sharing and we'll start with the presentation from, I think it's the Brooklyn Museum, right? Who's listed? Who's first?
I think it was Bam, but I'm happy.
Brooklyn Academy of Music is first. Okay. So you have the floor.
The thing. No, thanks again for the invite. Is it possible to get screen sharing capabilities?
Sure. Khalid, would you provide Mr. McIntosh the ability to share?
Fantastic. All right.
Great.
Great.
Joined by David Walters also.
What's up to? Great. Yeah. So great to be here. And thank you, Julia, for some just direction on what to focus on with you all tonight. Definitely around what I'll be sharing about what we do for seniors, for families, and some other community programming. But thought I'd use actually just our website, which there's a lot on it. All the kind of genre specific work, whatever you're interested in, is the nav bar on the left. I'll be focusing on the community page that lists predominantly most of our senior programming. And I'm just highlighting what's happening over the next few months. Most of what we have programmed is up through at least May. We have yet to announce Dance Africa and the associated programs, but this gives you a good picture of at least what's coming over the next few months. So our senior socials, our senior programming is for those aged 65 and older. It's all free. The senior social events are a gathering opportunity for those of this age who, in a couple ways, either celebrate their creativity through what we call a brush and brunch, a chance to create art together and enjoy some food. So we actually just had one March 7th. What's coming up, which these happen at least once a month or every other month. We also have music specific socials. So upcoming at the end of this month is a jazz focused one, a senior social event. So the music ones generally bring in a great band. So a chance for the seniors to enjoy the music, to dance. April 6th will be a focus on Motown in our Fishman space. June 13th, we've got an LGBTQ plus brush and brunch event in our Hillman studio, and then an LGBTQ plus every booty dance party in the Hillman studio. At the end of June, it'll culminate with a disco, which we do annually. A lot of fun in our large windowed Adam Max gathering space. RSVP is required for that. So just note, reserving a spot requires you to reach out to Dewani Frederick, either by email there or calling her directly. Next up is our senior cinema program. So this program also is free. It happens the third Friday of every month. And what we have listed are all the films that we're offering up through June. We actually have one next week, a screening of Free Angela and All Political Prisoners. Lying Lips in April. In May, Finding Fela. And June 16th, The Young and the Damned. With this program, my understanding is it's just a show up. There's no RSVP required. So it's, again, you're 65 or older and would love to enjoy a film in the morning. There's also complimentary popcorn and soda that comes with this event as well. Great. A great music series and this is for all adults, that has come back since the lockdown. We used to offer these BAM Cafe Live concerts in our Adam Max gathering space a lot more frequently. It's a little infrequent now, but wanted to note that we do have one coming up, I guess in 2 weeks, which is Al Sarah and the Nubatones. This is a fantastic group. Their style is East African retro pop. And this will be a Friday evening at 9 p.m. It's a free event as well, and all are welcome. The doors do open an hour beforehand, and there's no RSVP. So now I'm going to shift to what I'm involved with programming is our BAM Kids family programming. As I mentioned, our kind of sweet spot for these programs are any adult who's got a child or more between the ages of 3 and 11. Our kind of upcoming performance, we've actually got 2 circus shows that are coming in. Esencial is coming in at the end of this month. And this is a fantastic circus company from Spain, actually a company we were hoping to present in 2020 before the lockdown occurred and we had to cancel. It'll be here March 25th to 26th. It's geared for ages 6 and up. And all our tickets are reasonably priced. This one at $18. Performances happen that weekend at 10:30 and 2 p.m. on the Saturday and Sunday. We also offer, for those who have a person in their family on the autism spectrum, a sensory-friendly performance on the Sunday at 2 p.m. And that just means we diminish the surprising elements in the show, as well as a lot more flexibility about coming and going in the space, as well as not going to a full blackout in the space to make it just more sensitive friendly to those audiences. Following that, we have a Get Up Stand Up concert, which is our annual concert focusing on the genre of hip hop for our younger audiences. This one's geared for 8+. It'll happen April 1st at 2 p.m. And this is a pay what you wish pricing scale for, so $8, $10, or $12, whatever the family prefers. And then lastly, I'll highlight Cirque Calabante. Is a fantastic company. They're based out of Montreal, Quebec, but all the performers are Ghanaian by background. They will actually be in our Harvey space, which is rare. It's one of our larger theater spaces on April 21st and 22nd. This contemporary circus experience is geared for ages 6+, and it's also a pay what you wish pricing scale, $17, $22, or $27, whatever families are comfortable with. And this one, unlike our other programs that generally are in the morning or afternoon, does have some evening options on the 21st and 22nd. What I haven't listed and can share with Julia when it becomes available, we will have our now annual Spring Fest, which is a celebration of spring through the variety of cultures represented in Brooklyn, as well as the theme of environmental care. That will happen May 6th from 10:30 to 4. It'll be a free event, all free components to that day. And as soon as that information becomes available, I can send it to Julia. And then lastly, I'll just share, we do have a ticket assistant program. So if for whatever reasons, we don't want the cost of our programs to be a barrier. So we do have the ability for families to apply for free tickets up to 4 people who are enrolled in the USDA's program for free or reduced price school meals. Tickets are available on a first come first serve basis, depending on the popularity of the show. But you would just need to apply, and it's a very simple form there to request those free tickets. We also have the same policies for veterans as well. So if you are a service member or anyone in your family who wants to attend a show, you can apply as well for free tickets. Great. Yeah, so just wanted to open up if there are any questions or further clarification about anything I shared.
Thank you so much. And what I'd like to have you think about is we're going to have a outdoor, I guess, fun fair event. And if you could keep in mind things that might blend in with that event.
Sure thing. Do you have a date for that?
Nicholas, you can help me out.
Yes, we have the date for it. The date will be the Saturday following Memorial Weekend.
Mhm.
And we're going to be at Robert McNair Park next to the Brooklyn Museum. We are trying to get as many organizations for tabling and bringing whatever information, whatever resources they can provide to us at the community to make it possible. And we are looking not only for you to attend and tell what's happening within them, and also is there any way you could help us in some because in some situation we probably will talk, because we're looking for getting a sound stage and some of the other stuff, because the community, but we're looking for sponsors, and it seems like BAM seems to have access to a lot of sponsors. Maybe you could help us in that and where we can do that. This is in the process of being planned. As a matter of fact, our youth committee had a meeting this week, and then we're going to be planning some meeting in between, so we'll get more specific as to what we want. Okay.
Great. Yeah, no, appreciate the invitation. Definitely, the more info you have that you can share will help us with the thinking of it. That's great.
Okay. Is there? Does anybody have any other questions I would like to ask? If you could use the raise hand function on Zoom, or if there's nobody talking, just chime in.
Fix if you need to unmute yourself.
Nicholas, we could go to the next presentation then.
Nicholas,
you were muted, so repeat what you said.
Muted, but if I had any question, we're going to move on to the next presentation. And Mr. McIntosh, you're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting. Okay.
Wonderful. Thanks so much. I may have to duck out, but I'll definitely stay for Laval's presentation here.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, all right. So let's move on to the Brooklyn Museum.
Hi, okay, I'm gonna try to, if I can share my screen and enable it. Let me know.
You should be able to now.
Okay, thank you. So I'm just going to. Okay. So good evening, everyone. As I said, my name is Lavelle. I'm the Director of Community Engagement and Partnerships at the museum. It's a newly formed role that's actually under a newly formed department called Social Impact and Learning. I've actually been at the museum for 10 years and I've grown up across the street at the museum. I like to say that I'm Harlem bred, but Brooklyn raised. So the Brooklyn Museum has affinity towards me, but I also understand it as being a visitor. I understand it as being a neighbor. So I understand those dynamics, and I'm really happy to be in this role within that understanding. So within that, just want to let you know who's a part of our team for Learning and Social Impact. We're led by Deputy Director for Learning and Social Impact. Her name is Adjoa Jones Dalmeda. She comes from Sister to Sister, and she's worked with Uprose within the community as well too. So she has very much so grassroots within Brooklyn. And then Sophia is our executive assistant, and it's myself. It's a small yet mighty team. And we have a lot that we want to address within these next 5 years. And it's going to be under our social impact framework. And our next goals within these 5 years is, one, my particular passion that I would like to do is support economic growth and business literacy when it comes to supporting local businesses around Brooklyn. And the key 5 districts that we would really like to integrate with is of course us with Crown Heights. It's Brownsville, it's East New York, and it's Canarsie, as well as Sunset Park is going to be our focus within these next 5 years. And next year, we're celebrating our 200th anniversary at the museum. So within that, we have really been thinking about that museums are at a point of really needing to get their things together when it comes to interacting with the communities that they serve, with really trying to navigate what it means to be fine art, and it not just being centered around white audiences within it. And I'm just going to be fully transparent within that. So we've been trying to understand why people don't feel comfortable coming, one, to Brooklyn Museum, but also to museums as a whole. And a lot of the times we want people to come through our doors, but our department wants to bring the museum into communities that don't particularly engage with museums or never felt welcome. So we have been building a museum on wheels, and it will be an interactive art and education experience. And our goals is to be working with Title I schools, NYCHA public housing complexes and green spaces, as well as senior centers around Brooklyn. And this is all under our social action framework, where we're hoping to anchor meaningful and engageful experiences that's centered around climate and justice, which is impacting Brooklyn as we speak right now, and also mass criminalization. As you'll see further in my presentation, we have many shows that center both of these, but we're looking to have more community initiatives, more engagement when it comes to people that have been formerly incarcerated as well too, both in artists, but also with supporting economic growth within their lives as well too. And also just growing and retaining audiences for communities that's historically not been centered. And that's expanding our work within English learning languages, BIPOC audiences, K-12 schools, and with families within the public housing units and the foster care system. One of the initiatives that we just wrote a grant for the Psy Foundation, and the Psy Foundation is, we can go back to that, is they're part owner of the Nets actually, and they started a social action fund. And within that, we wanted to present our learnings for a cohort of 8 BIPOC-led organizational leaders within the Brooklyn sector. And within that, we'll have a leadership coach, and we'll provide monthly workshops based off of the learnings that they want to have within the application process. And after the cohort convenes, which will be, it starts this October and it goes all the way until next year of October, and they'll be awarded $25,000 each after this cohort. And also the opportunity to share any other things that they want, whether it's programming or sustainability that they would like to have for additional funding for the Psy Foundation as well too. This is the initial start of this. We have not picked the organizations yet. We're still looking for a coach within the arts and culture sector in Brooklyn. But we hope to have all of these learnings by, I believe, by May, that we'll have the coach, and then we'll start working within the organization. So you'll be hearing about this soon. You're actually probably one of the first people to hear about it. And tonight I'm navigating one. I don't know how many people from the museum has come to any of these meetings beforehand. It probably was not many or little to none. And I'm thinking about what the word community means, and it's not a monolithic word, that it means something different to everyone. And I'm trying to just navigate within these Museum on Wheels activations, and also when it comes to programming and supporting local businesses, I want to do a lot of listening first before I start to navigate what it is that people need. So on top of doing these Museum on Wheels activations, which we hope to start next year, we would like to go to have listening tours with schools, with community boards, with senior centers, and hearing what it means to activate their spaces. And then through that, we'll also have a Thought Partners Council. I feel it is important with having a encyclopedic collection that you expand the narrative and you expand who the gatekeepers of this narrative is. So bringing different organizations into conversations with curatorial, with public programs, and it's going to be a paid endeavor that's happening for the Thought Partners Council. And we'll start with 10 people, and through every year, we'll bring on another 10 going into that. And that starts at the end of this fall in November. So I wanted to also share some education opportunities within the adult learning sector, thinking about scholarships when it comes to the summer programs and family programs as well too at the museum. And as I also said, with expanding audiences that don't necessarily have English as their first language, we do have We Speak Art. And that begins on May 6th. It's from 5:30 to 6:30. This particular one will be online, but following on a monthly basis, it'll be in person in the galleries, and it's a way for people to, one, understand throughout language and through art. And we also have Vitality Arts, which is art making for older adults, and that's on Tuesdays, 10:30 a.m. to 12:30. And it is free with suggested donation to the museum. And we have a hands-on art experience called Sunday Art, and it's open to all ages on Sundays, every Sunday from 2 to 4 p.m. And also that our summer classes are open for ages 8 through 10 and 11 to 13. And we have scholarships for people that cannot afford to come. We want to have access and accessibility when it comes to these programs. And the scholarship applications are available on our website. And then next, thinking about public programs, recurring and exciting upcoming spring programs. We are celebrating our 25th year when it comes to First Saturdays. We just had one for Black History Month that brought in, I think, well over 20,000 people throughout the night. And we just had one that was celebrating our Great Migrations exhibition, which we just opened this past Friday. And it was well over 15,000 people as well, too. So some exciting programs that are happening is Drink and Draw, and we also call it Pints and Prints, and it's every third Thursday. And that actually began today actually, and it goes into every third Thursday for the rest through the summer. Pardon, I'm in Bed-Stuy across from the firehouse, so pardon the sound. And we also have Jazz in the Beer Gardens, and that starts in the spring on Sundays, right in the back of the museum. And we have salsa that actually was happening tonight, and it is free, what's coming to the museum, and that's every third Thursday. And Brooklyn Symphony Orchestra will be taking place out in the front of our facade in the summer of this year. And just talking about our current exhibitions that we have here, we have Terry Mugler's Catusumé, and it ends in May. Terry Mugler is a fashion designer, a late fashion designer that passed away, I believe, 2 years ago. But he's had extraordinary impact when it comes to LGBTQ rights, when it comes to Black trans rights as well too. So it's honorable to have his fashion, which is really art to me within the space. Mary Baxter's Ain't I a Woman it's a documentary, but a video documentary of her rapping. And she's actually a formerly incarcerated individual that gave birth to her son in shackles over 2 years ago. And this is also thinking about our anchoring on mass criminalization and having more accessibility on what we deem as art within our galleries as well too. And we'll have a celebration for Mother's Day, actually, that we're planning with Mary Baxter, where we're bringing women from Rikers Island to come with their children and have a moment at the museum as well to celebrate for Mother's Day. Duke Riley, Long Live Trash. He's an artist that has been within Coney Island and our different spaces where water is, and he goes digging and sees all these different things that people throw away or throw out in the street and goes into our sewage. And this beautiful piece that you see here, if you look at it a lot closely, you'll see cigarettes, you'll see plastic. These are all wasteful things that people have made, but he's made these into beautiful art pieces to see. And that actually closes next month. And one of the exhibitions that we just opened was Great Migrations, a movement in every direction from the emancipation from slavery. And it shows the lineage and the journey that everyone has taken after having that experience. And you can also go into the galleries and tell your own experience on how your family has migrated from wherever that you have come from. So we can all show that we all have a journey within space. And then going forward, our upcoming exhibitions, which I'm really excited about, and I would love to think about community engagement within these too, is Africa Fashion. It is exploring all 54 countries within Africa and fashion, dance, design, and also just playing front and paying homage that a lot of the time when it comes to fashion, we have not got recognition that we've been an anchor within spaces. So it's now giving them that moment, and that will be from June 23rd to October 22nd. And we have not announced it yet. So you guys are actually the first to hear that we're working with Spike Lee right now to do a retrospect, and his exhibition will be at the museum beginning on October 6th, and it'll be through March 3rd, 2024. And thank you. My email is below as well as my number. I hope that this is not, I hope this is the first of many that I will be able to interact with you all. And my goal, honestly, is to break those barriers and hear a lot of what people think about the museum, because I feel like with transparency, it's key with seeing how we can make people more comfortable with coming here. And I also acknowledge that it's interacting with the community is the first step. So I'm going to stop sharing. And if anybody has any questions, I'm here. If you have any questions later on, please feel free to connect with me. And I thank Naima Wood for inviting me this evening.
I have a question.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So there's a program called Brooklyn Arts Collaboration for Change. And so do people put in applications, or because you were saying something about picking people or applications? I'm not clear which it is.
So it's going to be, we're now actually trying to, in full transparency, we're trying to navigate if it is that this is the first time that we're doing this cohort, and we want to make sure that there's intentionality with it. And also we want to make sure that we're not gatekeeping when it comes to thinking that we know organizations that need this help or this work within workshops. So people will be submitting it, and we'll actually be doing a press release within the next few months from it. If you all also have any suggestions of people within organizations as well too, we also recognize that with press releases or announcements, it doesn't get to everyone. So we do want to connect with organizations that are already doing the work and already out in our communities and encourage them to apply.
Thank you.
I want to thank you, Laval, for coming and presenting such a fantastic presentation of information. It was super, super helpful. And I know that you want to continue to have this collaboration with us and continue to, integrate with the community. And you mentioned to me not too long ago that there's an opportunity for someone from Community Board 9 to attend another meeting that you're hosting. So I wanted to hear more about that and see how we could help you with that.
Yeah, thanks for the reminder. So actually next Thursday, I believe it's from 2 to 4. We have a social impact committee board meeting, and it's directly with our trustees and board. And we meet on a monthly basis to just really give updates and get feedback within the work that we're doing. But I feel like with thinking about these listening tours, with beginning this Museum on Wheels, and also just imagining what questions will spark change or spark people to also integrate with the museum, I wanted to invite people that are in the community to be a part of this session with our board and our trustees. Our director of the museum will also be there. We have Groundswell, which is Robin Walker. We have some people from Laundromat Project as well too that will be coming in. And I think the more people that are in the room to give feedback, and we are imagining having 3 different scenarios that people will have to ideate about when it comes to activating a space and having a museum on wheels. So for example, we'll have that your space is in a NYCHA public housing complex. Your audience is multi-generational. This is some of the history within for Brownsville that we'll give an example for, and we'll also give demographics. And we want people to see what impact it is that you want to leave with doing your activation inside of the space. How do you give agency to people as well too, like after you leave within the space, and give agency for people to know that the power is in their hands within sparking change. And then to what activations would you imagine doing with knowing the neighborhood that you're in and the audience that you're serving? So we would love to have anyone if you do have time, but I can send more information to Mayima after this call so that everybody can have the correct time and the run a show, but I would love to have someone there. Yeah.
Is it just one person or?
It could be more than one. It could be more than one.
I mean,
If
because
y'all
I
wanted to come, it could be all-
I know, because I know artists that I would direct it to, and then I want to be able to tell somebody about it, and they still be welcome. Okay.
Yeah, I think I mean, for me, we're going to break out into 3 different spaces. So the more people that just have different viewpoints within the community that can give proper feedback within things. And it's not an echo chamber sometimes with sitting with trustees or boards, or even just with other staff at the museum. So the more voices that we can have in the room, the better. So.
Okay, then my follow-up question is, okay, that's one meeting. Would there be a follow-up meeting? Would they then be part of a committee? Or is it like, because for my transparency,
Yeah.
I've seen this and it goes, blah, 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 blah. We got some Black people. Okay, checked off the box, and they keep moving. And if that's the case, then no, I'm not going to offer anybody I know.
I mean, that's not the case. I think sitting down, this is a committee that happens internally, like with staff and with the board, but with thinking about approaching these listening tours. And when it comes to activating and making these museum on wheels, it's important to have people inside within having this conversation with us at this meeting. The committee is not, it's not open to the public like after within speaking things, but I know that I'm willing to keep communication flowing with people. I'm willing to make sure too that voices are heard and we can give updates with what occurs or what happens to it, but it's really just making sure that when we're talking about these listening tours, or even thinking about who it is that we need to be talking to within these listening tours as well too, we have the right and proper feedback from within that. So
Okay.
I'll leave it to you, Julia, if you'd like to come on.
I don't know if anybody else have any question, because I have 2 or 3 questions I would like to ask. Is there anybody else? I'll let them go before I ask my questions. Anybody else have any questions? Well, then I have a couple of questions. One question I think some of us in this community board is to find out, with the museum being in the community, how much effort has been done to hire either interns or workers within the community board? Is there a question? I don't know if you can answer at this point.
Is it with the community board specifically or within the community?
Within the community in general, but for us, we are community board 9. We would like to get our youth, get internships, unemployed people, get jobs within the community in which they live.
Yeah. So we do have an intern project that we do work within the community that we serve. Before it was actually that we worked with colleges, and you had to have all of these requirements and these credentials, but that's not giving accessibility within things as well too. And a lot of the time within these communities, or even just myself of speaking, I didn't have a lot of the access that needed to fulfill those requirements. And when it comes to having an internship, it's to learn, right? So it's open. We have it. It's through education. We have an incubator that happens twice a year. I can send over the link. Everyone is encouraged to apply, and you work within different sectors of the museum. The directors report that they need an intern within that, and these are the details that they'll need to happen. But usually it's about, from all the directors within interns that request, I would say it's about 80% of the directors, I'd say. So we do have a high rate within interns, and then also they grow into other roles at the museum as well too. One of the interns that we had actually for our Virgil Abloh show is now working as a curatorial assistant without any of the requirements that was needed with thinking about a curator. So yeah, there's opportunities there. And also with hiring as well too, there's opportunities, and they're also making sure that they're thinking about our diversity within space and also what that means to be diverse too. So we've been having a lot of talks internally within things, but I know with me also just being, I'm part of Crown Heights, I've grown up there. So I also know where it is that we have to go. And I also know that it's different feedback with people feeling welcome within space too. So I am a type of person that I'm here, I'm ready to listen. I'm also not a person that's optically coming into a space to go back until I really truly feel like community is a group thing that people need to do. And it's not just me coming out in these streets and talking to people. I feel like our director needs to do the same. I feel like our boards and our trustees need to have transparency and do the same as well too. And also represent and reflect the neighborhood that we're in. So, yeah.
The other question I have, I see one of the program was in Spanish. Are there any other language groups you are considering? I'm from Haiti. I'm a Creole person. I'm a strong proponent of my native language. Are there any outreach out for languages other than Spanish?
It's a great question. I think we have a lot to go when it comes to languages. Right now, we've been thinking about in proximity who's around the museum, and then who is engaging with the museum to make sure, even just with wayfinding, that we have information. What we have been doing was based off the exhibitions that we have in the artist. We've been doing different didactics or gallery labels in the different languages that's special or meaningful within them. But I do feel like when it comes to Haitian, I don't think that we have that on the list within things. So it's good to bring it back. It's good to think about who's coming to the museum, and also just need some transparency. And also, if you know anyone that's within organizations that do want to interact with art or do interact with art and speak multiple languages as well too, we're open to having partnerships with them as well too, because this is not just coming from the museum. It's actually that we're giving space for people to come that lead organizations within Sunset Park and have Spanish speaking audiences to come and interact with the art. So if you have anyone that you work with within organizations within Nicholas, I'm open.
More than welcome, because I'm trying to remember my experience at the museum. Because since college, I've been involved with a group of Haitian artists, quite a lot of them, and they said within that, I'm talking about a 30-year span now, because I was in college in the late 70s, and I got involved with a lot of the art in there. And some of the artists which I still friends with, they're saying they can remember maybe one exhibition of Haitian art they can remember. But I had a close thing to that because one of my relatives in the early 70s was already a well-known artist. He did exhibit at the museum. That was way, way back. I'm talking about the 70s. And I had a conversation with quite a few of them within the last 2 months. And they're saying, how come the museum is not opening the space for them to come in again? So I don't know how you and I will have to talk, and I would love to set up a meeting with a group of artists that I know to see what are the possibilities. Because and some of them have been associated somewhat with Naima. Probably didn't tell you because she's quite humble. She didn't know what she does. Because some of them have been associated with the Dorsey Gallery for a long time, since the 70s and all this stuff. So some of them are still around. And the few conversations I have, they said, how come we don't have an entry into Brooklyn Museum as much as it should be?
I mean, I can't answer that for, I mean, like, that's within curatorial, but I can say that I can't imagine. I think that the first question within things when I'm out talking with people is that they're like, I want my art inside the museum. I think one, it's helpful to have art on the walls that represent the diverse community that is the museum, or even the Caribbean, like diaspora. It's mass, right? But I do feel like my dream would be to have a Caribbean show, a special ticketed one, even if it's surrounding Carnival, even if it's surrounding anything. It's like, I do feel like we need to interact a lot more when it comes to the Caribbean community within stuff. But it's more so of having that conversation with curatorial or with the deputy director of art. But what I do love about these moments and being here with you all is that, like, tomorrow I'm going to go and I'm going to be like, Sharon, like, this is the conversation that I had with this community board, and why, and what's the history within that. So I can promise you, Nicholas, that you'll get an email from me of giving you an update within that question. I've seen a couple of more hands too.
Yeah, go ahead. Let me see.
Brenda, I see your hand.
Brenda, go ahead, Brenda.
Yeah, it seems like this is a great long range plan. And that's great, because when you say, oh, bring the museum out into the community, into green spaces and other similar places, I think that's great, because I love my museum. However, there are very few of my neighbors, and I live in Ebbetsfield, for all who want to know. There are very few of my neighbors who would walk up the street and come into the museum because they don't necessarily feel welcome, like it is a space that belongs to them. So I really want to see, long before next year, you know, when this wheels get started moving out, which is great. I was like, yes, get the museum out of the four walls, and so that the community knows it is their museum and they're welcome to come. But part of that too, I heard free like 3 times, and that's important. But critically important is that people in the community know that it is welcome, you know, that they should and could come into the museum. Suggested admission is good. But again, you have to tell people, you know, we want you to come. This is for you. You have to go out and promote it to the people in the community. It can't just be listed on the website. And the same is true for Brooklyn Academy of Music. It can't just be listed on your website. You know, I happen to be able to get online and go to the website, et cetera, but there are lots of people who aren't that savvy. And I had no idea that seniors was hidden in community, Steve. Okay, so this is the kind of thing that we're looking at. How do we get these cultural institutions off the property so people can see them and go, wow, I didn't know that was right there. Okay, I should come over there, you know, and participate and maybe even support these cultural institutions. But you've got to get outside of the four walls in communities like ours, because when you're not rich and white, you don't think the museum or the Brooklyn Academy of Music is a space where you are welcome. And it is often true. So that we have to, you know, get rid of that ugly stigma and welcome people in. And it can't, again, it can't be hidden on the website. And like right now, you're at this meeting right now, and I'm so thankful for that. So we're going to go long range, long term, and we're going to hope that you're going to come back again and again and again so we can follow through with what the museum is doing, with what Brooklyn Academy of Music is doing to outreach, with what Wildlife Conservation Society is doing to outreach and draw the community in. So I just want to be really clear about that. We love you all, and I love my cultural institutions, but you got to get outside of the walls and change something in order to outreach. It can't be, we're here, and if you come through the doors, then we'll share with you.
Okay.
All right?
Marley, did you want to, Marley, did you have your hand up? You had your hand up, but did you take it down now?
Yes, sorry.
Okay.
That was just about connection with a group that you were asking about. I was asking if you were connected with Caribbean. Shelley's amazing. I'm saying for Creole, like for that type of thing. That was just my.
Well, I was just going to add, I have seen a success story of community being engaged with the institution. I am not a fan of the Brooklyn Public Library, although, you know, I'm a big reader. But last Sunday, I went into the Brooklyn Public Library. It was filled with children. They were like rugrats. It was amazing. I felt young all over again. They were running, they were comfortable. I mean, the fact that they were misbehaving meant that they were comfortable. And they were in and out, they were on the computers, they were doing whatever. And it was an event that had to do with picking out summer camps. And I have been there on other days where it was having to do with Black superheroes. And the joy that I saw, suddenly now I'm interested in Black superheroes. And I only went because that one day I went, and now I understand that there are such a thing. So I'm just saying it happens, and it's in our neighborhood. You could see it. They're doing something right, and I don't know how they're doing it, but you could go there on a regular basis. They fill up their lobby, and they put up tables, and kids are delighted, and you know, and they didn't destroy it, although I have to say, for a split second, I thought they were going to tear up the joint, but they didn't. In the end, they swept it up, it went away, and they went on about their business. So, you know, I know First Fridays, you know, y'all get really rowdy out there, but there are plenty, you know, and I'll just say the second thing about First Fridays. My neighbors and I don't go to First Fridays. It's too crowded. It's dangerous.
Saturdays.
First Saturdays. It's dangerous. Now it's dangerous for us. It's too crowded. And we have a joke, and it says, it's a victim of its own success. It's just, it's painful. And we would like to go. But if you were on the other side of that line, it's kind of scary. You know, it's really rowdy. So keep that in mind that you're doing something, but that's something that needs to be mindful. Because you'll be very hard pressed to get me to come back. So thanks.
To come back to the museum or come back to First Saturdays? Because I'm okay if First Saturday is not your thing, you're like, it's okay. But I want to understand. We try to make sure within programming that there's different ways to come in and interact within different spaces.
No,
So
you
I'm
know what?
trying to understand if it's
I go
the
on.
museum or is it
I
First
go in the
Saturday?
middle of the I go in the middle of the week,
Okay.
and I'm a big fan of your lobby. I meet people there. I use it as my extra living room. So and your outside space I also use. But and then that paint and drink thing, I send the young ones over there. So my family members go, we heard there are young men over there. You better get your butt over there. So,
I'll
so
take that, Julie.
I'm just saying that
I love it.
just so that you're really clear on exactly who was sent there. Telephone calls were made. Get over there. So I am a fan of that. So it's not all negative. Thanks.
Thank you. Is there any more question? I just want to try to move on, but I want to make a couple of requests from the both organizations. I think your presentation, Ms. Lava, we should try to have it at a general meeting to inform the overall board what's going on. I'm going to make a proposition, being a member at large and a member of the executive board. When we meet, I'm going to ask them to see and speak to the district manager to see if he could invite you to present the information you provided to us at the general meeting, so a lot more people be informed. Also, what we have at the community board is a Friday email blast where we send information about jobs, about anything that's happening in the community. I want you to connect with the district manager, Dante Alwine, and also Khalid is over there. So if you have a specific event, a specific meeting you would like for the community to attend, so we could put that in the email blast that we send to everybody and we have on our mail server. So, but like I said, I hope you come back again and again. We have a education and library committee that would be very helpful for them to see that same information. And also we have health and social service committee. Most of their focus is on the seniors. They're looking to do a lot of stuff for the seniors. So I would welcome them if I'm going to speak to the chair of that committee, if you could come and do that same presentation for that particular committee, the social service committee. So with that, if there are any questions, I want to thank you guys for a tremendous representation, for all that information. And we'd like to see you again and again. And let's establish some projects and some relationships so we keep this going.
Thank you so much, Laval. This was wonderful. And we want to make sure we formally invite you to our fair in May.
Yeah, love to be there. It's right next door. It's in May. Yeah, well, I mean, we'll be there for sure. I'm here, I'm in this role now. It means more to me than a job description. Brooklyn and this neighborhood is very near and dear to me. So I know Naima warned me. She was like, it's a tough crowd, but I don't think of it as tough. Like, I think of it as really, if we're going to do the work and really try to understand what's going on, like you have to have these critical conversations. So I thank y'all for your transparency and just being real. And I got goosebumps. I feel good about it, but I'm here. If you need me to do any more presentations, I'm happy to do that. And I thank y'all. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. All right. Let's go back to
public comment.
Public commentary is the next thing. Are there any public commentary? Go ahead.
I have public comment. This committee signed a letter in support to the Prospect Park Alliance regarding their redesign of the upper and lower Vale of Prospect Park. That design was sent to the Landmarks Preservation Committee,
Mhm.
and they rejected it.
Okay. Thank you for that.
And they rejected it because the materials that they wanted to use were not in not in tune with the Frederick Olmsted materials.
Mhm.
And they were also made a comment that they were suspicious of their public engagement. So, so they've been sent back,
Okay.
and I'm just reporting.
Okay. Well, thank you for that information, which means they have to come back to us before they do anything again. So I'm
That's right.
looking forward to that. I will engage the Prospect Park Alliance to get more information about what happened. Since that cover, so this is part of jurisdiction of parks. Okay. All righty. So anybody else with any public commentary? All right. So now let's move to the cultural institution liaison reports. Community garden and the Brooklyn Botanical Garden is the first one. Who would like to chime in into that?
Okay, let me go quick. It's 8:13 p.m.
I know I'm watching the time. Believe me, I'm watching.
Go
it.
fast, Brenda.
So I'm not going to talk much.
No,
Okay. So we had a lovely meeting with myself, the subcommittee
Mhm.
for to talk about developing a partnership with what is it? BBG,
Prospect Park
Botanic
Alliance,
Garden and the local school.
Botanic Garden, right?
Brooklyn
Yeah, the Brooklyn Botanic Garden. Yeah. Mhm.
and schools or youth groups, anyone that has students or children, whether it's schools, summer camps, daycares, elementary, whatever, those, and community gardens. So we're off to a good start. We had the education VP, we had another community outreach person, another person from BBG there. They're going back to their staff to have another meeting or several meetings so that we can get together in about 3 to 4 weeks and come up with some idea of what Brooklyn Botanic Garden can do to partner with the community gardens and schools, get out into the neighborhoods. Basically, that's the long and short of it. The subcommittee is going to need to meet again to come up with some firm plans or ideas on what we're looking for, what kind of project it is that we want to have in the community gardens in District 9 that engages kids or kid groups in the garden and gardening process, because we need sustainability. That's not going to happen unless we bring young people in and teach them the ways. And what BBG can do to get outside of its fencing into the community and share with the community other than its children's garden, which is on site, etc. So we're looking forward to developing something perhaps ongoing with BBG to work with the community gardens in CB9 and schools or school groups or student groups. That's where we're at, and that's enough for now. More to come.
More to come, yeah. Okay.
Yes.
I would say that group was going to try to reconvene as much as soon as possible, so we could continue that process. And while we're on that subject, I realized I had missed one community garden, and I don't have a contact for that person. Do you have any contact for the person on the Lincoln Street Community Garden? Because I like to bring them in also.
I'll look for it. Eric Toman from Green Thumb, when he came and gave us his report, he gave us that list. So I have to scroll back through and find the Lefferts Garden information. Otherwise, I'll get it from somebody at Maple Street.
Okay, sounds great, because I just realized we did that. Okay, let's move on to the next report.
The
Who's next on
Brooklyn,
the-
the neighborhood parks assessment plans? Did you guys
Oh,
go on a
okay.
tour?
Yes, David Walters and Dave Romeo, we've been working on that. So I'm gonna share my screen and see the kind of work the group's been doing, and they can chime in. So. Okay, if you allow me to share my, can I still share my screen, Khalid?
Yes, you can.
Okay, thank you. All right. Can everybody see the screen? Okay, this is what we've been working on. We got the list of all the parks that is within CB9, and we have created this grid and also the community gardens, and there we have 3 of them. And then we have the list of the various council people or the politicals that are associated with them. I've been having informal conversation with a lot of them regarding this idea. What we would like to do is to do a visit for the park. Fortunately for me, last Friday, at a meeting, the Councilwoman Rista Joseph brought the borough commissioner, assistant commissioner, Mr. Mayor, to come and see a park that's right across the street from me because I've been complaining to a problem in there. And we had a very nice conversation. So he said this is something they used to do before the pandemic. So we're now in the process of trying to do that. So I would I would stop and let David speak about what we've been talking about so far. Are you ready, David? And David Romeo and Mr. Walters, feel free to chime in.
I can't hear him. I can't hear him.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, this subcommittee met on the 8th. And basically, as Nicholas was saying, there are several things we are looking to do. One of the things we are planning to put together is basically a calendar of events. Whatever each in our area is having, we would like them to submit it. We'll have everything on one calendar, so and distribute it throughout the community board organization, so everybody can know what, let's say, is going on at the Ralph Henry Playground, or the Jackie Robinson Playground at McKeever Place. That's one of the things we are planning to do. With that in mind, we have liaisons that are going to meet with these valued members and committee members for the different parks. And they would give us information. We would put it on the calendar. They could also submit information to the community board. And we draw up the calendar and, probably distribute it weekly in the newsletter that comes out every Friday evening. Another thing we plan to do is also to physically visit these parks. We're going to start doing that. Our tentative start date is April 15th, Saturday, April 15th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. We're going to start from the southernmost park, which is basically at Clarkson Avenue and New York, and come northward to Ron McNair Park and Eastern Parkway. We expect that we could get that done with 2 or 3 Saturdays as need be. And we will be reporting on our progress as we proceed. Anything else, Mr. Nicholas and Dave, you think we should add?
Thank you, David. Dave, is there anything else you want to chime in? David Walters.
Did you check with the parks person to see about getting the van to carry whoever's going around from park to park?
No, actually, when I spoke with the commissioner, he mentioned it. So he told me to email him once we have the date, and so we could work that out. He said they did that before, so it's not something new for him. So we simply have to find a date, coordinate between the Parks Department and the elected, so we can, to see if they can. He said that will be available. They will have a van or that take us. And I know at our last meeting, everybody's welcome to come, but we say it may not be necessary for everybody in the committee to show up. So, but definitely whoever can come, we'll know the date, and then we'll do that. Okay. And I think one part, I don't know, Dave Walters probably cannot unmute himself, because one of the things we talk about is also to develop an assessment, because we're calling assessment. So we're going to reach out to the Parks Department to see if they already have an assessment instrument that can share with us. So, and then we could look at it, and then if there's anything we want to add or subtract for our purposes, and we'll do that. That's basically what we're working on. Hopefully, between now and next month, we'll get all that done. Okay. Are there any questions? I want to start.
Good. It's
Looks like very good work. Thank you.
Okay. So let me stop sharing.
Do we have someone to report for Prospect Park Alliance?
Yes, Ms. Courtney, what do you have for us? There's a few things happening over there.
Yes. I think the big news this month was that they released a study on the pedestrian traffic that they did in conjunction with the DOT. I believe that the detailed information did go out to the entire board, but it was, looking at how the lanes in the park are kind of interacting with each other, I think is the summary of what they were looking at, along with a consultant. So I believe that was the big news for the month. Nicholas, did I miss anything? Oh, besides the alligator in the pond.
That was mostly the highlight for this month for the Prospect Park Alliance, because you and I are part of the meetings. We are invited to those meetings, those planning meetings, or what the Prospect Park Alliance is doing. That was the main thing. So if you guys have not seen it, it should have been your email. Actually, I was trying to see if I could put it on the screen. Where
The survey?
They did a survey, and actually starting in a couple of, maybe next week, they're going to do a pilot program where they're going to repaint all the going around the park. They're going to change the location where the bicycles are, where the pedestrian are. One of the things they're going to add will be an extra pedestrian lane. Let me see if I can bring it up. I think I have it somewhere here. And it was something they emailed to everybody. Just give me a quick moment while I look for it.
Also have Marley with her hand up. Wildlife Conservation Society is going to share, instead of me sharing on their behalf.
Okay, sure.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, excuse my appearance.
While I
and
look, you go ahead.
Sorry?
Yeah, you go ahead. Keep going.
Sorry, I'm sick. I went home from work today, but I'm like, I can't miss this meeting, even if I
Oh,
Thank you.
like this.
I appreciate that.
Excuse me, excuse my appearance.
Mhm.
No, sorry, what I was gonna say was, no, I looked up the email for the Prospect Park Drive improvements, but also I had gone to the community listening session about the Lefferts House
Mhm.
improvement. So I didn't know if that was, sorry, I feel like I'm part of this committee now since
Oh, you are.
I'm like, I'm reporting on everything. As for and it was an interesting community listening session. It was a few Saturdays ago. But as for Wildlife Conservation Society, mostly Prospect Park Zoo, we still truly are just listening and wanting to know all these, like everything is so valuable that everyone has been saying. For example, not knowing even for free programming. So like I would love to figure out what would be the best way to get for the community, the free programming. But we are very focused on employment locally. We've been sending it to the eBlast, but if there's anywhere else that you all would like, we would love to do that. We also have our bilingual nature club still, which is free. And we'll be doing other things based off of my findings and everything, and basically what you all would like. But I think that's a great point that Ms. Pagan brought up about that there are oftentimes people don't know where to find information. Not they don't know, but they don't have like there can be better ways, and I think we could all learn what ways are best.
I just said the youth committee is having an intern fair for April 1st. Can reach out to the, I think her name is Sol Cleary, or through the community board to contact with her, because they're looking for different agencies for vending, because they're bringing a lot of youth that are looking for summer employment or even internship during the week. So it's tentatively scheduled for April 1st, which is in a couple of weeks. So I'll try to reach out and give the youth chair that information that you maybe one of the organizations they should reach out to. Okay.
Yes, and especially with the local employment, I know our director Denise is always asking me, like wants to employ locally, and so we're very focused on that.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen so I can show you this.
Thank you.
This is what the prospector has sent in terms of the pilot program, where they're going to reap in the way. I don't know if you guys can see the graphics. I'm going to try to see if I could make it.
Yeah.
So they're showing you the existing. This is the current where you have the pedestrian space, you have a separation in between, you have the cyclist space, and the vehicle lane. So they're gonna run a pilot where they will have on both sides pedestrian space, and then the authorized vehicle and back lane will combine into one, because based on their study, they want to minimize as much as possible the possibility of bicycle hitting people and sending them to the hospital.
Okay.
So this is starting next week, where they're going to start repaving and bring new marking on the big circuit around the park. So if anybody would like a copy of this, I'd be glad to forward it to them. I think that may be on the, Khalid, do you know if they sent it to the community board, or was that put part of the eBlast?
That was part of the eBlast last week. Yeah.
Okay, so most people should have that. Okay. All right, so let's see where we are. Any other reports? Oh, Prospect Park.
So you're supposed to have is somebody going to report back from Brick or from
Yeah, well,
Flaggart?
I made one contact with Brick. The chair of the youth committee, which I attended the meeting this week, is associated with Brick. And she said she's going to make the contact for us. And I should be speaking to her by Monday to find out where we are with Brick. And I explained to her whatever we're doing. She says not only she has a television to a part of their local media, but she also part of some of the communities they are working at. So that's the work on Brick, because I think they can be very helpful in helping us provide some resources, I think, for which they have expertise for our community fair. And also, I want to call to the people what's happening with PLG Arts. PLG Arts were presented to us last year. They got some great money from Assemblyman Cunningham. They're doing a lot of activities. They have an art fair at the Brooklyn Commons. next Saturday along with musical entertainment. So if you're not plugged into PLG Arts, we should keep looking because they are putting a lot of programming. Today I received an invitation for a jazz, because what they are doing, they started with a chamber music at one of the major houses in PLG. So some of those well-known iconic houses. So there's so there will be a jazz performance again coming up next week, where they are doing in one of the houses. That can usually, the one I went to, the chamber music was about 20 people. So, but if you're interested, I'll send that flyer for you guys too. Let me see.
Nicholas, when you said houses, is it like someone's personal house or is it a music? Okay.
Correct.
I think they're called home concerts.
Yes, they do home concerts. So the one they had, it was a very nice group from Upper Manhattan, a string quartet, and the program was quite diverse. They play music from Paquito de Rivera along Mozart and all that other stuff. It was really, really good. And I think this year they're bringing in, okay, let me see what I received today. Let me go back. PLG Arts. All right. Oh, the art fair.
Did you get it by email?
I want to show you a couple of flyers. So this one will be, let's see, let's share screen again. Okay. This is the flyer for the art fair. It's March 18 from 12 to 5 at Brooklyn Commons. And they are going to have 25 local artists. And then they're going to have live music from 3 to 5. The next one is again.
Can you send this to us later? We're running out of time.
Yes, I will. Mhm. So the other one is, oh, okay, here it is. This is the one. The Marion Sullivan Project in a historic home. So they're using a lot of the historic home. That's Sunday, March 26th from 3 p.m. So if you want to go, you have to put in your reservation very quickly. So if anybody's interested, I'll forward that information to them. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
That done. Let's move on to
Action
what's
items.
next on the agenda. I have to look at it. What now is there any item we need to vote on? I don't think we were able to set up the deadline for projects, and I think we're going to do that in the subcommittees and bring it up for next meeting. And I just want to ask Molly a question. Molly?
Yes.
What answer did you get from your higher up regarding you officially joining this committee? Because to join part of CB9, you don't have to live there. You have to at least work in the community. That qualifies you to join the community board as a resident member.
Like I said, I went into work the next day and I was kind of burst into my boss's office and was like, oh my goodness. I was so excited. And she's on board. We're meeting with government affairs because even though Prospect Park Zoo is a city zoo, we still have to, like I said, go by the whole government affairs. We're meeting with them next week. So I'll be able to ask next week.
Okay. Well, like I say, you are welcome to be here every time we meet. Okay.
I'm going to keep coming to these meetings no matter what. And I mean, the invitation just meant so much to me. You have no idea. Like I said, I'm so sick. I went home from, didn't even go to work. Bill knows, like, I was just like, I have to come to this meeting.
All right, thank you for coming.
Thank you. So,
So,
Is that it?
are there any new business?
No, the subcommittee for the partnership with BBG needs to set a meeting date. And
All right, I'll have one by Monday,
Okay,
okay? I'll have one by Monday. I've been programming it based on whatever else I have to do in my life. Okay. You have one by Monday. I guarantee you that. Any old business? I will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
a second.
The mother seconded. All in favor? Say
Aye.
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 Oh, it's been
Aye.
wonderful, people. I'm looking forward to. Okay. So everybody enjoy the rest of your weekend and weekend.
Thank you.
As much
And
as
thanks
possible,
to guests for
try
coming.
to attend the general meeting on the third or fourth Tuesday of the month.
Okay.
Okie dokie.
Okay, thank you very
Peace
much.
out, everyone.
Good
Thank
night,
you.
everyone.
Have a
Thank
good
Good
night.
night, good night,
Nice
good night, good
Night.
night.
and have a great night.
Okay.
Good
Good
seeing
night,
you.
everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
you.